everyone, this is Frank over here from PlayerEssence.com, and I have a special video for you guys because today I'm going to be talking about something that's very near and dear to my heart, and that is Chrono Trigger for the Super Nintendo. It was also released for the PlayStation and for the Nintendo DS, and also for iDevices and Android later on. I originally played it on the Super Nintendo, and as many of you guys know, the 20th anniversary of Chrono Trigger is actually fast approaching here in the United States. I'm pretty sure Chrono Trigger came out on August 22nd here in North America, and I think in March in Japan. So the 20th anniversary has already passed, and there was not even a peep out of Square Enix for the Japanese anniversary. And the 20th anniversary is coming up here in August, and I really do think that this is the perfect time to bring Chrono Trigger back. And I don't mean a remake or a porting of Chrono Cross or an HD upgrade. I mean a full-on new game in the Chrono Trigger franchise. And I think that could happen at this year's E3. Now, Square Enix actually has a press conference. They actually have something that they're going to show. They said that there's multiple unannounced games. They've even hinted that classics are going to be returning. And I think Chrono Trigger could be one of them. It's been so long since a Chrono Trigger game. There hasn't been any games of the franchise since Chrono Cross, I think in 2000, or was it 99 or 2000 or something like that. So personally, me, I have not played a better JRPG, since then. I think Chrono Trigger is the best Japanese RPG ever made, in my opinion. And I know a lot of you guys are probably going to disagree with that, but it is my favorite game of all time. It's my favorite Japanese RPG. But I don't want to be down and say that no games have, got to that point, because I do think that there are some games that have almost reached that point and that are pretty much at that point. And some of them are fairly modern, so I did want to talk about a few games that I do think that actually almost got there for me. And it's funny because a lot of the guys who used to make Chrono Trigger have worked on these games that I'm about to talk about. So I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys already have an idea of what I'm going to be talking about. So the first game is Lost Odyssey. This is from Mistwalker, Hironobu Sakaguchi, the creator of Final Fantasy, and some of his team after Square Enix kind of disbanded everybody that was there that actually made all the good games. He made this game back in 2008, I think, and this game is it's so by the book when it comes to the mechanics and when it comes to the gameplay. It has this really cool ring system, so the battles feel a little bit more active. It's not just like, okay, you just press the button and then they do the attack. You actually have to line up your ring, and you can get different types of rings to do different types of damage and stuff. It has all the magic, has the big open world, different areas, all the JRPG tropes that you know and love. But what really set this game apart to me was actually the short stories that were in there. Chrono Trigger crafted a story that was just so perfectly put together, and you really were involved. In this game, the main story was cool. It was obviously a good main story, but the short stories of how this eternal, this immortal lived, and all the people that he came across in his thousands of years living are just touching, and they're so good. Like, I cannot stress to you guys how good these short stories are within the main story. So if I were you guys, if you have an Xbox 360, first of all, if you don't have an Xbox 360, go buy an Xbox 360 and pick up Lost Odyssey, because let's be honest, this current generation of games just I'm not sure if it's living up to my expectations, but this is a fantastic game on the Xbox 360, and it's the only system you can play it on. It's a ton of different discs, 4-disc game. You're going to be switching them and all that, but it's so good. And this game brought me to those points where I was like, yeah, I had that feeling like, Chrono Trigger, like this game is awesome, I love it. It just falls short in a few areas here and there, mainly character development and stuff like that. But the gameplay is solid, and the characters are cool. Not as good as Chrono Trigger's characters, but the short stories are freaking amazing, and they're worth playing just for that alone. The next game is this one right here, and I bet a lot of you guys know. Now, a lot of you guys probably think this is better than Chrono Trigger, which there is a case to be made. Xenoblade Chronicles for the Nintendo Wii. It's also on the new Nintendo 3DS, and this game is phenomenal. The world is huge. The battle system is very unique, a very good blend of MMO turn-based action RPG, just kind of everything just kind of blended to hit something brand new. I never played a game like this on consoles, and one of the really cool things about this game is just the mechanics, just how the battles work with the whole see the future with Shulk. That really took me by surprise when I first played it. I didn't expect for that to be such a integral part of gameplay, and you combine that with all the different systems that it has within that, the gem crafting, and you have the magic from Charlotte, from different characters that can use that. Just each character has a specific role, and they do it well, and the battle system flows, and it really works. It really does work, and this is one of the best battle systems I've ever played in any games. And Xenoblade Chronicles, it was almost there. I think the one thing that Xenoblade Chronicles where it doesn't match up to Chrono Trigger to me is story a little bit. The story is a bit weird, especially the ending. And while it's good, the characters, in my opinion, weren't quite as memorable as Chrono Trigger's characters, and I don't think the story was as good as Chrono Trigger's either. The battle system can arguably be just as good, but everything else just doesn't match up as much. Plus, I mean, there's a lot of fetch quests, like way too many fetch quests in this game, and you know, Chrono Trigger had fetch quests here and there, but it was nowhere near as bad. And all the different multiple endings, that's one thing that Chrono Trigger did get right over these games that I'm talking about. The multiple different endings with Chrono Trigger, these games necessarily don't have that. So, well, as much as Chrono Trigger's, that is. So, Xenoblade Chronicles, fantastic game. Not quite there, but definitely up there. And this final game that I'm about to talk about, I think is pretty much, I would put it at just a smidge right underneath Chrono Trigger. I mean, it is right there, but I don't know. I just, for some reason, I can't say that it's better. I can say that maybe it's just as good, but I can't say that it's better. And that is 2013's Fire Emblem Awakening. This game is phenomenal. This game is so good. And I think what makes this game step up to that Chrono Trigger level is not only does it have the gameplay to back it up, but it has the story, because the story of this game is so good, and I love time travel. Time travel is great. Lost Odyssey has time travel. Xenoblade kind of does, in a weird way, and this game really uses time travel well, especially with the children, how you can recruit them, pair people up. The combat is so fun, and when you play this game, you kind of just get into a trance, and like you're like, man, I've got to do this, and I've got to do this, and I have to pair these people up, and I have to make sure their stats are boosted. Okay, I have to equip this weapons. Okay, I have to battle for this. And the tension in battle is so great, but it's the characters that really just tie everything together, and it's the story and the attachment that you feel to these characters, that you want to fight for them and you don't want them to die in battle, and you'll do everything you can. And you've seen people play this game on YouTube, you've seen the streams of it, you've seen how cool and how intense it can get when you're playing. And Fire Emblem Awakening and just this game, to me, really opened my eyes. I mean, I always played some of the Fire Emblem games back in the day. I thought they were cool. They weren't like my favorite or anything, but this by far is one of my favorite games of all time. It was actually my 2013 Game of the Year. Can't believe they didn't get more Game of the Year nods from Major Press, but you know, that's 3DS for you. But yeah, this game I think is right up there with Chrono Trigger in my opinion. Now there's also Final Fantasy VII, which is also very good, and I'm actually putting that right with, just because of the historic level of Final Fantasy VII and how good that game is. But I'm just talking about as far as games that I love the most. Those three kind of are right up there, but close but no cigar. So let me know what you guys think. One, do you think that Square Enix has something cooking for Chrono Trigger, because it is the 20th anniversary coming up here in August, and E3 is coming up very soon, so they could announce something. Let me know if you guys think that's happening. And number two, are there any games that you feel, Japanese RPGs, that are better than Chrono Trigger, that are right up there? Do you love Chrono Trigger as much as I do? I would love to hear your opinions. So that basically wraps it up for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please hit that like button if you did like this video. Let me know if you guys want more videos just like this one. And also subscribe to PlayerEssence if you're someone new, because right here you're going to get all sorts of videos based on nostalgia, just like this one right here, and also all things gaming, Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you guys in the next video. Peace.